The NBA is making plans to deal with the coronavirus outbreak. In a memo sent out this weekend, the league requested teams have guidelines in place by Tuesday. Now, this situation is, again, we're using this phrase ever evolving, but certainly that is the instance here. And so many people in sports now are looking to the NBA, always a very progressive ownership and management, to see exactly how they will handle all of this.
11 Live's Maria Martin is live at State Farm Arena. Maria, what's the latest you're hearing about how the Hawks plan to handle this moving forward?
Jeff and Cheryl, now the NBA is very closely monitoring the coronavirus in general, not just the Hawks, because this is such a fluid situation. We recently learned from a source that has direct knowledge of the situation that it's not out of the question that the league could potentially ban spectators, postpone games, or move the schedule around. But as of right now, as you can see behind me, the guys are warming up. Games are going on like they usually would, and the players still want to play in front of the fans. Now, as I mentioned, it is such a fluid situation, so much so that all of the interview requests that we've made to the Hawks have been denied. But here's the latest in what we know from the NBA. Tonight they are holding a conference call with all team doctors and trainers. And tomorrow they have asked that all teams put in place a, quote, coronavirus for everyone on Tuesday. Now, as for the players, they've been pretty honest about it. LeBron James came out and he said that he doesn't want to play if there are no fans in the seats. For the Hawks players, we asked them what it would be like to play in empty stadiums.
It's not, to be honest, something I'm really worried about right now. It'd be weird or different playing with no fans, but I don't see it coming to that point.
It's definitely something that I think it's a scare that's going on throughout the country, and you show up to a game with 15,000 plus people at it. It's that, that more of a hotbed for people to get sick, and a lot of people are at risk for it, and I don't blame people for being skeptical.
So tonight the Hawks will take on the Hornets as scheduled. Fans will be here, and we'll have much more about the actual game tonight at 6 o'clock.
Hawks back in action tonight. Despite the coronavirus fears, thousands of fans made it to the State Farm Arena tonight. But there is news regarding the next steps the teams are taking to try to prevent the spread. Right before tip-off, the NBA, Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, and the NHL released a joint statement saying they are restricting locker rooms to players and essential staff. The change will go on until further notice. The leagues received input from the infectious disease and public health experts. The close contact in the locker rooms create a higher risk of spreading potential viruses. Media will still get access outside of the locker room. These effects take place beginning tomorrow. The NBA has meetings scheduled for Wednesday to discuss further with team owners, and other decisions such as preparing to ban spectators are still on the table. Earlier today, we spoke with the players about the potential changes.
There's obviously a lot of calls and conference calls and meetings that are going on. Our group had a meeting this morning. I think Tony is scheduled to have a meeting this Wednesday. Chelsea has a meeting with all of the trainers tonight. A lot on the table.
The city of San Francisco now has put a ban on gatherings of more than 1,000 people. So that means Thursday's Golden State Warriors game will be played without fans. But there's another huge development, and we want to continue to update this. We began our broadcast at 5 o'clock with this news, so if you are just joining us now, we want to give you an update. So amazing here. The NCAA banning fans from attending games at this year's men's basketball Final Four in Atlanta. Alex McQuade is outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium with the very latest. Alex, I want to toss some information I just read off Twitter a moment ago. This is off Associated Press that Dr. Mark Emmert is now saying that the NCAA is looking about moving the games to smaller venues. Are you hearing anything about that?
We haven't been able to confirm that just yet, but within this last hour, we are hearing that the NCAA is going to bar fans from attending the men's and women's tournaments, and that includes the Final Four, which was scheduled to be held right here just feet away from me at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I'm right outside of State Farm Arena, where tonight the Hawks will be playing, and a lot of people are wondering if this might be the last Hawks game where fans are allowed in, maybe for the rest of this season. There's only a couple home games left, but the NCAA, this is an unprecedented move for them. They aren't being advised right now to cancel any games right now, but this is a fluid situation, so the NCAA and Atlanta Sports Council are keeping a close eye on that right now. All right, we got a fan here right now who's coming from South Georgia to see the Hawks tonight. Ben, we're talking about the NCAA. Mark Emmert is saying that he made this decision to bar fans from the tournament in thinking about public health. Do you think this was the right call?
Obviously, it's a pretty disappointing thing to hear that the tournament's going to be canceled, at least for the fans in Atlanta. But I think it is the right call to keep everyone's safety as the number one goal. But I know a lot of people in the Southeast are disappointed, and especially the players not being able to have the fans help them cheer on to victory.
Absolutely. Well, enjoy the game tonight.
Yeah.
I know you're going to be looking for the Hawks. Guys, this is a completely unprecedented situation. We haven't seen anything like this, and this is something that we'll be keeping a close eye on as this continues to develop. Again, right now the NCAA is not being advised to cancel any games, but this is a very fluid situation, so that could change in an hour or so. We just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. It could change in an hour or so. You make a great point. Fluid situation, no kidding. We have another breaking development now. Tonight, one of the biggest on Atlanta's upcoming calendar now is a no-go for fans. The NCAA Final Four at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And Alex McQuade joins us from that venue right now. There are 71,000 seats in that stadium. If the games are still there, it is going to be empty.
And Jeff, those seats are going to be close to empty, as you just said. We've learned that the NCAA's president, Mark Emmert, has decided to keep fans out of the men's and women's tournament, including the Final Four, which was scheduled to be right here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium early next month. Now, he's making that decision, he says, in the best interest of public health. Now, the NCAA and Atlanta Sports Council both acknowledge that this is a fluid situation, and they will make adjustments as needed over the next couple of days. Right now, they are not being advised to cancel games completely. But now the Associated Press came out with an interesting report just a few minutes ago. They are saying that there is a possibility that the game gets moved, the Final Four gets moved out of Mercedes-Benz Stadium to a smaller venue. And officials at Mercedes-Benz Stadium said that they are still in discussions with the NCAA and could not confirm or deny those reports. But we are right outside of State Farm Arena, where the Hawks are supposed to be playing the Knicks, or they are going to be playing the Knicks tonight. And this could possibly be one of the last games that fans are allowed to attend. So we caught up with some fans and asked them what they think about fans not being allowed to attend sporting events.
It's crazy. I mean, obviously, for the fans to miss out on something like that is so upsetting for them, and it changes the way that the players are going to play.
We came down from Chattanooga. Actually, we've been talking about it on the way down, possibility. We're going to the NBA game tonight, and you never know when suddenly you might not be able to get in.
Again, right now, this is a very fluid situation. Right now, the NCAA not being advised to cancel any games, but they will be making adjustments as needed. And you can follow these developments right on 11alive.com.
So we begin tonight with Alex McQuade, who is live at Georgia State University, with how this has altered the sports topography. Alex, there's so much to talk about. It's all yours.
Yeah, Jeff, it's been a crazy couple of hours, and it all started when the NCAA announced that they were banning fans from both the men's and women's tournaments in the upcoming weeks, and it just got weirder from there. Tonight, the NBA announced that they have suspended their season, and an NBA player, Rudy Gobert for the Utah Jazz, has tested positive for the coronavirus, and that is according to the league. Here was the scene at the Jazz game tonight before the announcement came out.
Due to unforeseen circumstances, the game tonight has been postponed. You are all safe. And take your time in leaving the arena tonight and do so in an orderly fashion.
Now, two players were listed as having illnesses before the game. The league decided to postpone the game, and the fans were told to leave. The league has released a statement, and right now both teams are being quarantined. But back here at Georgia State, let's get back to the NCAA for a second, because like I said earlier, they announced that they are going to be banning fans from the upcoming tournaments. And around the country, we have seen conferences ban fans from conference tournaments. Now, here at Georgia State Stadium tonight, Georgia State played Georgia Southern. There were fans at the GSU Sports Arena, and this might have been the last time that we see fans play or attend a game for a long time. And we asked Georgia Southern, who got the win tonight, how they feel about going forward in playing in empty stadiums.
It's kind of crazy how they just taking the fans away, but I feel like there's just going to be adversity maybe, and we just play through it.
So I've been following as much as I have been. This game has been having my full attention. And you know, as a coach and coaching a team in tournament atmosphere is great, but you have to trust doctors, you have to trust government to protect us.
There's a lot to unpack here. The NBA has suspended its season, and I would be personally shocked if we don't see the NCAA tournament, MLS, MLB, and NHL follow suit as this coronavirus just continues to grow. Send it back to you guys.
All right, Alex, thank you.
Due to unforeseen circumstances, the game tonight has been postponed. You are all safe. And take your time in leaving the arena tonight and do so in an orderly fashion.
So that was in Oklahoma City, where moments before the game against the Jazz was scheduled to start, the league postponed the game. A couple of players listed as having illnesses, and the league decided to postpone. As of now, the teams were quarantined inside their locker room. We have not received an update if they are still there at this hour. Now, we learned soon thereafter that a player on the Jazz roster had tested positive for coronavirus. Immediately, the NBA has decided to suspend its season until further notice. Alex Lace is outside State Farm Arena, where the Hawks game has just finished, and fans and players all reacting. What's the very latest you have from downtown Atlanta?
Yeah, Jeff, fans just finished trickling out here at State Farm Arena from this Hawks game, and it might have been the last game that fans get to watch of the NBA for quite some time. We don't know when that is going to be next. Like you said, the NBA has suspended its season until further notice. It happened after a Utah Jazz player who was not at the team's game against Oklahoma City tested positive for the coronavirus. Now, the Hawks were on the court when the decision came down, and they were able to finish the game. They lost in overtime, everyone shaking hands and hugging after the game because this might be their final game of the season. Here's what the team had to say after the game.
It's the right move. You know, I think fear, when you start worrying about, you know, what's happening or what could happen, that's the wrong thing to do, trying to play games and trying to bring people into the stadium. So it was expected, and it was expected with a swift decision, and the guys all understand it.
And this is not just affecting the NBA, this is really affecting all sports. In the NCAA, earlier today, we heard the announcement from the NCAA's president that the NCAA tournament, both the men's and women's tournaments, will not allow fans in the games. And conference tournaments, you know, we just had Georgia State play in the Sun Belt tournament. They had fans in their game as well, but tomorrow the conference is going to revisit that, and maybe they will join the other conferences throughout the country that are also banning fans from attending the games. It'll be really interesting to see how leagues handle this moving forward. I would be surprised, Jeff, to see anybody play any more games for the next couple of weeks, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you know, this is ever evolving, and it's changing very rapidly from hour to hour for the most part. You know, we heard earlier no fans for the NCAA Final Four. Now with the NBA's decision, I would not be surprised. I'm like you. I'm not thinking that they're going to be playing the Final Four. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure there.
The last 24 hours, all major sports leagues have altered their plans in some way. We've just learned within the last half hour that the NCAA has now canceled all of its winter-spring championships. That includes the men's Final Four, which was scheduled for Atlanta. At first they said no fans. Now they say it's going to be off altogether. Today, Major League Baseball and Major League Soccer suspended their seasons. The PGA and NASCAR are going to continue on, but at this point, without any fans. Alex Glaze is here with more on all of these developments. Alex?
Yeah, Cheryl, you mentioned the leagues that have suspended play. Here's the latest. We'll go league by league with specifics for you. The NCAA has canceled its winter and spring championships. They did not release any plans on trying to play March Madness. Baseball, the biggest professional league to make any changes today, saying all spring training games are suspended, and they're pushing the start of the season back at least 2 weeks. Atlanta United has no games scheduled right now, with MLS and the Champions League suspended, and we just learned in the last hour that the GHSA is postponing state literary the next 2 weeks and recommending all high schools suspend athletic activities for the next 2 weeks as well. While the PGA Tour has banned fans for the next few events, Augusta National has not made any public decisions yet regarding the Masters. We have reached out to them, but it may be sometime before they release a statement, with the Masters still 4 weeks away. But if you're looking for sports, as of now, you'll still be able to watch NASCAR at AMS this weekend on television. Well, it has been the most surreal 24 hours of sports that I have ever seen. The entire sports world has been turned upside down because of the coronavirus. The NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, and Major League Soccer have all suspended their seasons. March Madness has been canceled. There won't be a Frozen Four and no College World Series. As of right now, NASCAR is having its next 2 races, including the race this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway, without fans. The PGA Tour has banned fans as well. Now, it's worth noting we haven't heard back yet from Augusta National Golf Club regarding the Masters. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm sad. I love sports. But what's going on in the world right now is serious, and suspending play is the right thing to do. If giving up sports for a little while will help get the virus spread under control, then I'm all for it, and you should be too. No game or tournament is worth potentially spreading this virus. So, no live sports for a while. You could watch movies, you could read a book, or hear me out, you could spend some time with your family. It's a novel concept, I know. We will continue to have sports segments on this station, and I'm not going to lie to you, I don't really know what that's going to look like, but we'll have it. And we'll dedicate that time to continue to show you the power of sports. It's a power that becomes even more apparent when times are tough and things seem uncertain. But even without games, there's still plenty to talk about, like where will Tom Brady land? Do the Braves have a World Series caliber roster? Can Atlanta United continue to play well without Joseph Martinez? Who should the Falcons draft? I mean, I can go on and on. But it all seems insignificant right now. But sports will go on here, and sports around the world will eventually return. But for now, let's help one another out. Let's be smart, let's be safe, and wash your hands. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.